Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts, and today I'm going to be doing a challenge for scrapbook.blogspot.com, and this is the What's My Challenge for June. And we're going to be using this recipe, and I think this is really cool. I've never done this before, and the recipe has these ingredients. And so for this layout, you must include all of the ingredients, and it includes 5 different pattern papers, 4 different types of embellishments, a 3-word title, 2 types of alphas, and 1 photo. And so, so I had to do a little bit of pre-planning for this layout, which is good because I am making sure that I'm following the rules this time. And for this recipe, I definitely needed to make sure I was going to use 1 photo and then a 3-word title. And so I picked this picture here, and this is a picture that was taken a couple years ago. My friend Judy and her mom invited me and my mom to go to the Gulf Coast at one of the casinos for the weekend, and we had a girls' weekend. It was kind of like a mother-daughter thing because it was her and her mom, and then me and my mom. And so I thought I could use this picture. It's just one. This is the only picture that we had, and so I could use this one picture, and then also the title will be Mother-Daughter Weekend. And so I thought that would be really cute. And so I think I can create this layout pretty easily using that. Now for the 5 different pattern papers, I had started another layout a while back and I haven't finished it yet, but I used this cutter. This is a paper trimmer from Creative Memories. And I can't think of what the name of it is. The curvy cutter, maybe? I'll probably put somewhere on the screen here exactly what this is called, but I picked this up probably about a month ago, and I've used it a couple of times, and it's really cool. You can use this to cut 2 different types of curves. This one's kind of like a wavy pattern, and then this one is a little bit less curvy, and it's really cool. So I have this idea. I'm going to be doing the same exact thing because it allows me to use a lot of different pattern papers on the layout. And so I'm going to be using this kind of template or design on my layout. Okay, so let's see what else. I think I'm also going to be using this collection. I got this collection from the Echo Park Club Kit, and this was the Oh Happy Day. And I have quite a bit here. I have washi tape, I have some ephemera die cuts, I have a 6x6 paper pad, I have the sticker sheet, and some 12x12 papers. And so I'll have lots here to work with. I think I should be able to get 4 different types of embellishments in there, maybe a paper clip, or I have to see what I have. I guess I could count the die cuts as an embellishment too, so I should be okay with that. So let's see. I should be able to do the 5 pattern papers, the 4 different types of embellishment, a 3-word title. I'll have to pick out some alphas. I'm going to need 2 different alphas. And the title is going to be Mother-Daughter Weekend. So maybe I can do Mother-Daughter Smaller and Weekend Big. So I'm going to have to look in my thickers and my sticker stash for my alphas and see what I have that would go with this paper. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to stop talking and start scrapping because you know I can't talk and scrap at the same time. And let's go ahead and just get started. So if you're interested in participating in this month's challenge, I will leave a link in the description below to the scrapbook.blogspot.com website, and you can find all the information you need to join in. So I think these challenges are a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about doing this layout. So the first thing I'm going to do here is kind of look through the different papers that I have available. I needed some 12x12 papers to create these decorative strips that I was going to use on my layout. And I'm kind of doing something, I tried it out on another layout that is not finished yet. I was just kind of playing around with this technique, and basically I'm just going to cut strips of paper with this decorative trimmer and kind of layer it and make a background. And so I decided on this pink and white check paper, and you can see here that I'm just taking off the edge of the paper to make that curvy, and then I'm going to move it over to the 1-inch mark, and then I'm going to cut that out, and then I move it over to the 1/2-inch mark and cut that out. I'm going to be cutting 2 strips of paper from each of the papers, and one that's an inch and one that's a half an inch, because I wanted to kind of have some variation in the sizes. And I'm going to also use this floral print and also that pink paper with the little bees. So I just picked out some papers that had smaller patterns. I think that this technique works much better if your paper has a smaller pattern, because if you use a paper that has a really large pattern, then you're going to kind of lose that when you do this, because I'm really creating really small strips of paper. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, or maybe cut some of this out, because I don't think that it's really adding to this video for me to show you every single paper that I'm cutting here. So I think I'm just going to skip ahead. Okay, so I finished cutting out all of the strips from my pattern papers, and I pulled out some white cardstock to use for my background. This is the Cartabella ultra white felt textured cardstock, and it is the most gorgeous paper ever. And I just felt like because this Oh Happy Day is a Cartabella collection and all of these papers are just so beautiful, I just really thought that it deserved a nice background. And so I have a pack of this paper, and I save it for whenever I use Cartabella because yeah, it just deserves it. So I just love Cartabella paper so much. And if you've never purchased Cartabella paper and you've never used it and or seen it in person, you just have to go get yourself some Cartabella paper, because it just has this awesome texture. It's just like such a luscious paper. Okay, that's all I got to say about Cartabella. And if you've watched my channel before and you've heard me talk about paper, you know how much I love Cartabella. Okay, so I'm trying to now look at some thickers here, and I thought about using these, it's like a yellow glitter thicker, and I didn't quite like it. I just didn't think it suited the look and feel of this layout. And actually the color yellow was kind of dark, and so I decided to try out these, it's like a chipboard letter that is from Bella Boulevard, and I don't even know where I got these. I think it was a free item that I got when I purchased something from eBay, and I didn't really pick this out. And actually, to be honest, when I saw this and when I was when I've actually looked through my letters, I just passed over that over and over and over again. And it wasn't until I pulled this out and started taking these letters off of the chipboard, I realized how pretty they were. They almost feel like fabric, and it's like a pink background with little pink dots, and so super cute. I did though think that the D was a little weird because it didn't have a hole, but I'm going to do something later to kind of fix that. Okay, so for the rest of my title, I decided to use these gold puffy alphas, and this is from, I believe, the Pink Paisley Auburn Lane collection. And I just think these are really cool. And when you get this set of thickers, it comes with two colors. There's like a copper color, and then there's this one that looks more gold. And so that's the one that I'm going to use for this layout. And I'm going to spell out mother-daughter, and my title is going to be Mother-Daughter Weekend. Now, I did think about putting mother-daughter on top of the word weekend, but you're going to see later that I'm going to kind of move that around. But for now, it's just going to be there at the top of the layout. Now, I did layer my papers there, and you can see I'm alternating the different patterns of paper, and it kind of gives a really cool effect. And I haven't finished working on the background, but I'm going to go ahead and move to working with my photo. Now, I did reprint this photo because I felt like the first time that I printed it, it was a little dark, and then also it needed to be a little bit bigger. Like the people in the picture were really far away, and so I did kind of zoom in to get a little bit of a closer shot. And I printed it. I changed the settings a little bit so that the color was a little bit lighter in the photo. And I think that this photo was much better. Now, the white around the photo was part of the printer paper there. And I did just want to leave that there to kind of use it as a mat, but it was uneven. And so I cut some of it off and kind of trimmed it up to make that white border even all the way around the picture. Now I'm using these We Are Memory Keepers layering guides, And although I didn't have an edge to use with the layering guide when I was trimming out the white from the photo, I just used kind of the line that's on the layering guides as a reference point to figure out, kind of where to place that guide to do the cutting. Now here I'm actually catching the photo on the lip of the cutting guide and using that as my guide to make this mat. And I did use the 1/16 inch layering guide. I really didn't want a lot of black. I thought that would be too heavy. I just wanted a very thin black mat to kind of make my photo pop off of this busy background. Now I do have a video where I shared with you tips on using these We Are Memory Keepers layering guides because they're really awesome for creating mats for your photos. So if you're interested in that, I will put a link in the description below for that video. Okay, so I decided on the order of how I was going to lay out these different strips, and I'm trying to kind of determine if I wanted to push them all together and not leave any white space, or if I wanted to leave a little bit of white space. And you can see there that layout that I had started. I'm going to freeze that so that you can kind of get a look at it. But I started a layout before, and I really liked the way it looked. And so that's when I saw this challenge with the recipe and having to use 5 pattern papers, I knew that this would be a really awesome technique to use for this challenge. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue down all of these strips of paper, and I'm taking some liquid glue, putting that on the back of each strip, and then lining it up with the left side of my background and leaving just a little bit of white space between each strip so that kind of the white background peeks through. And I'm using the Barely Art glue. I've been using this glue probably for a few months now, and I love it. I was using the art glitter glue, and I needed some more, and when I went to order that, I couldn't find it anywhere. And when I did find it on Amazon, it was so expensive, and then they wanted extra for shipping. And I came across this Barely Art glue, and I looked it up on YouTube and watched a few videos and just decided I'd go ahead and try it out. It's very, very similar to the art glitter glue, and I actually like it better. I did actually leave this glue overnight. I forgot to put the pin back in. It got left out overnight, and when I went to use it the next day, it was not clogged at all. I couldn't believe it. I was just like shocked because any other liquid glue I've ever used, if I even leave the pin out for a short period of time, maybe an hour, that tip will get clogged, and you have to kind of work at it to get it unclogged. And this glue is just awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this off a little bit. It was kind of strange because the strips of paper were just slightly bigger than my background, and they were kind of hanging off a little bit. So I'm just going to use this Creative Memories 12-inch paper trimmer and just trim a little bit off the edge there. Okay, so now that I have my background all created, I can try to figure out the placement of my pictures and kind of where I'm going to put the title. And I moved this around quite a bit, trying to figure out, what would look good. I ended up thinking that maybe this would look really cute if I put the word weekend there at the bottom. And I got lucky because the yellow was the primary color there underneath that word. And so that really worked out well. I think if the pink would have been there instead, I wouldn't have been able to put the title there, but I really do love having that word weekend on top of the pattern paper. And yeah, I really love that a lot. Okay, so I really wanted to use a flare on this layout, and so I dumped out this bin of flares that I have. And I've been going crazy lately making flare buttons because I got a button maker. And I did go through and look through all of these different flares, and I picked out a few that I thought might work on this layout, but then I ended up not using any of those. So I thought about making a custom button for this layout, but the Cartabella paper is just a thick paper, so I don't know if it would really work very well to make buttons, because most of the time when I make buttons, I use that very thin printer paper. Okay, so I'm looking for something else to embellish my layout, And the top of the layout was looking a little bit sparse there with all that white. And so I thought about maybe adding a tag there at the top and making a cluster right there above the photo. And so I'm looking at all of these tags on this cut apart sheet, and I decided to use one of the tags here. So I'm kind of putting my picture there and trying out these different tags to kind of see, you know, what that would look like above the picture. And I'm looking back through the papers here to see if there's anything else that I could use on the top of my layout. So I'm also going to look through these frames and tags. This is the frames and tags that came with the Oh Happy Day collection. And I also had the ephemera pack. And I do have a membership to the EP club. I think it's called Club EP. It's a monthly membership. It's not a monthly membership. It's a what do you call that? It's every other month. And so you only get it 6 times a year. It's $29.99 with free shipping. And I think it's really cool because it kind of gives you some, you know, different collections throughout the year, but it's not like every single month. So I'm really enjoying getting these kits from Echo Park, and I just love their collections. I think Echo Park and Carta Bella are my 2 favorite manufacturers. And so that's one of the other reasons why I decided to join the Club EP. Okay, so I fussy cut out that tag, and I'm just going to punch a hole there in the top and add in some twine. And so I decided to pick out this pink and white twine, and I'm just going to thread that through this tag and kind of add that to the top. And once I got that created, I went ahead and decided that I would just cut off the top of it because you weren't going to see that part at the bottom anyway, and I can probably use that on another layout. So once I got my tag all finished and the twine there, I tied a knot there at the bottom, and I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape there as well to kind of pop it up. And I realized at that point that tag was white and the background was white, and it didn't stand out at all from the background. And so I'm going to have to try to figure out what to do there. Now I did find that black piece. It says, I think it says So Happy and, or Oh Happy Day. I can't really see. I moved the layout over. Oh, it says So Happy. And I was kind of out of frame there for a minute. I'm just trying out some of these different pieces. And I kept going back to the black one there. I just liked the pop of color that it gave. And I really would have loved to have had that tag there at the top. But it just wasn't the right color because it was kind of like white on white. So I went back to this cut apart, and all of the tags there, even though they looked like they were very colorful, the tags were all white, and it was just the background that they were on that was colorful. So I ended up moving the tag to the side there and tucked it under the side of my picture. Okay, so I'm going to go through this ephemera again, just looking for some different things to use from my layout. So I'm going to spend quite a bit of time going through all of this ephemera, trying to find different pieces that I can use in my layout. And so while I'm doing this, I'll kind of tell y'all a little bit about the design team that I'm on. I'm actually on this design team for scrapartstash.blogspot.com. There's 10 people on the design team, and each month we do 2 challenges. So there's a What's My Challenge at the beginning of the month that gets posted on the 1st, and then there's a sketch challenge that gets posted on the 15th. And so half of the people on the design team have their layouts go up the day after the challenge goes up on the blog post, and the other half it goes up a week later. So you kind of get inspiration through the entire month. And so when I have my blogs posted, it goes up on the 8th of the month and the 21st. And if you're looking for more inspiration for using this recipe challenge, you can see all of the different layouts that were created by the members of the design team, and also all of the submissions from people who are participating in the challenge. So it's really a lot of fun to see what everybody else does for each challenge, and I think it's a lot of fun. So I hope you do join us for this month's challenge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work on the cluster that's going to be at the top right corner there. And I found a couple of frames that were in the ephemera packs, and I'm going to glue those down, and I'm going to have them kind of go off the side of the page there. And I used about half of the frame. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to trim that off. And then I'm going to take those pieces that I cut off and add them to another place on my layout. So I thought about putting them at the bottom there, and I put one at the bottom and I think one at the top, and then eventually I think I moved them both up there at the top of the layout. So I'm going to play around with this quite a bit. I had a little bit of trouble trying to figure out where I was going to put these different clusters. But I really did like the cluster there that I had created at the top with the tag, and then that piece with the black background and the frames above it. I really thought that looked cool. And then I'm just going to stack the words mother and daughter on top of each other and put those there above my photo. So I thought about putting a cluster down there on the bottom right corner with a tag, but everything that I tried there just didn't look right, and I just kind of struggled a little bit here with trying to find something that I could use there at the bottom. And one of the things that I find very interesting is that it seems like more and more of the manufacturers are giving us things in these ephemera die packs that have words. And so it makes it very difficult to kind of make clusters when everything has words on it. And I really wish they would give us more things that don't have words. I love to have the words there, and I love using words on my layout, but there's only so many pieces that you can put on a layout with words. And when you're trying to build a cluster and you want to use something as a base, or you're overlapping things, if it has words on it, it makes it a little bit of a challenge to use that because you don't want to cover up the words. And so, yeah, it does make it a little bit more difficult. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick down the rest of my title here. I'm going to put the words mother, daughter there at the top and kind of stack them one on top of each other. I'm also thinking about using these two pieces together, but I ended up not really liking that too much. I was trying to find things to layer, and I was trying to cover up the words there, and it just really just didn't look right. So I'm going to go ahead though and add some foam tape to the back of this one piece here. I really did like the shape of that, and it says picture perfect, which I thought was perfect for this layout. And I thought about using that for the cluster there at the bottom right hand corner of my layout. It's going to get moved a little bit later, and I really love the way that that turned out. And so I just continue to try things here, looking for something. I'm going to pop this other little piece here up on some foam tape. And I like this little circle piece that I found. It's a floral on a black background because it brought black up to that cluster. And I really like the way that that kind of made a really well-defined triangle from each of those black pieces in each one of the clusters. I'm also going to pop up this piece onto some foam tape, and that's going to go back over there next to the tag. So I knew that I needed to have at least 4 different types of embellishments on my layout, and I thought about using a flare, but I didn't find one that I really liked for this layout. I also thought about using some paper clips, and so I did pull out my bin of paper clips, and I tried out quite a few, and I just couldn't really figure out a good place to put the paper clip. I really liked the idea of putting the paper clip on the tag, and that would have worked really well if the tag would have been on the top of the layout above the picture, but I didn't really like it there with the tag going sideways. It just didn't look right, so I'm going to end up not using any of the paper clips either. And I am going to be looking for some other things. I think I ended up using the twine. I used some ephemera. I used stickers. I used some enamel dots and some puffy stickers, I think. And so I did manage to get at least 4 different types of things on my layout, which was good. But I didn't end up using any paper clips, and I didn't use any flare buttons. Okay, so as I was working on the layout, you'll notice that that piece that was down there at the bottom kind of got pushed up under my title, and I really liked how that looked, so it's going to end up staying there. Isn't that funny sometimes how you accidentally move something and then you like it so much better than where you intended to put it? Sometimes it's good if you don't stick things down, I guess. So next thing I'm going to do is look for some more paper clips and different things, and trying out flare buttons, and yeah, none of that makes it onto the layout, but you know, sometimes you just have to try things out to see if it'll work or not. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start sticking all of these things down. I always love it when you get to this part of the layout, when you're just, you've made your final choices and you kind of have everything where you want it to go, and you're just putting kind of the finishing touches on. It's, this is to me is my favorite part of creating a layout, because you're seeing everything come together. And that's where I ended up putting that piece down there. Right under the word weekend, I made a little cluster there, and I thought I really liked that much better than having another cluster there at the bottom of my layout. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move over this word daughter. Just kind of was wanting to straighten up those letters a little bit, and then I'm also going to be adding the word mother there. I'm taking that off of the wax paper and adding it to my layout. Now, although I just said that I love the end of the layout where you have everything kind of coming together and you're gluing things down, I don't like putting little letters on my layout. It's such a hard process to get those little bitty letters all lined up. And I would say that's probably my least favorite part of creating a scrapbook layout, is trying to get the title on there and getting all the letters lined up, because it can be kind of a challenge sometimes to get that on there straight. I almost like sometimes creating a wonky title, because then it's more fun, because you can just kind of put the letters wherever you think they look good. You don't have to worry too much about it being on there straight, as opposed to, you know, doing it in a straight line like what I did here in this layout. But I wanted it to be in a straight line, so I had to deal with trying to get those letters on there and making sure that they were all lined up. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do here is to glue down my twine. I like to glue down my twine to make sure that it stays in the place that I want it to be. I find that if I don't do that, later I will go to take a picture of my layout, or I'll put it in my album, and the twine is usually, looks really messy. It's always in the wrong place, and so I do like to glue that down. Okay, so here I'm looking at the 12 by 12 sticker sheet that came with this collection, and I found some lemons and also a little bird and some bumblebees. And I decided not to use that little bird. I don't know, just something about it just didn't seem like it suited this layout. But I love the bumblebees, and I'm going to put a few of those and kind of scatter them around the layout. I also found a floral like in a little pot, and I'm going to try that out in a couple of different places, but it's going to end up going down there at the bottom next to the word weekend. And that's going to be where my third cluster is going to go. And I did decide to pop that up onto some foam tape and just put it there right next to that title. It is going to kind of move around. I kind of played around with it a little bit, trying to see if maybe I liked it in a different place, but it's going to end up down there where I started. So I did end up putting the lemons back on my layout. Right now you don't see them because I did put them back on the sticker sheet. And it's funny because I put those lemons on my layout and took them off and put them back on the sticker sheet probably 2 or 3 times before I finally decided that I wanted to use them. I didn't find anything else that I liked as well, and I thought the yellow from the lemons really added a fun touch to each of my clusters. I just liked the pop of yellow that it brought, even though lemons didn't really have anything to do with this layout. And it's so funny because I really do love lemons and anything that has lemons on it, especially paper that has lemons. I was okay with using the lemons on this layout. I also added a pink butterfly there at the over there on the left hand side, and that's going to end up moving around a little bit. I think it finally landed on the tag in the end. So I found some enamel dots to use on this layout, and they're from the Carta Bella Let's Travel collection, and I thought the colors really match well with this Oh Happy Day. And it's funny sometimes when you see manufacturers' collections, a lot of times they'll use the same colors and maybe just add a color or take away a color. So sometimes you can use your embellishments across the different collections from the same manufacturer. And so I decided to use a yellow, a pink, and a blue enamel dot in each one of my clusters. And I'm just going to kind of scatter those around my layout. I really love adding enamel dots to a layout. I think that it's like adding jewelry to your layout. It's kind of like the finishing touch. And I like tucking them under things so they kind of peek out. And I also like putting them in places where you have two things that kind of like overlap. So like for instance, where the frame and the background paper is, I put one enamel dot there. So kind of like connecting things and making connections in the different clusters. It kind of adds more cohesiveness to your clusters, and I just think it really adds a fun look when you add enamel dots. I also always usually add 3 enamel dots in each cluster. I just think that adding more is too much, and having 2 just looks unbalanced. Sometimes I'll just put 1, but most of the time I will put 3. I just like the way it looks. I also usually will use 3 different colors, or sometimes I just use 1 color, and yeah, it's just really kind of the way that I do it. Now the butterfly is moving around again. I don't know what it is with me and butterflies, but those butterflies won't stay still. They just move everywhere. It's like I just can't figure out where sometimes to put it. It's almost like the butterfly wants to fly around the layout and just kind of check things out before it lands somewhere. So I don't know. I think butterflies are fun to add to a layout, but they can be a little bit of a challenge to try to find a place for them. Okay, so while I was talking about the butterflies, I also added a little puffy sticker. It's right there to that letter D, and so that is going to help with not having the hole there. I just think that was interesting that the letter D didn't have the hole, but I still think it looked really cute, and it kind of gave me a place to put that little puffy sticker. Now I did fussy cut out some flowers there, and I added it to the top of the layout. And I did that because my sister was with me when I was finishing up this layout, and she told me that that spot up there looked a little bare, and there was just too much white at the top of my layout. And so I decided to add that, and I thought it came out really good. So I really appreciated her input, and I love the way that this layout turned out. So I have a short video clip of my 2 dogs, Bella and Lilybell, at the end of this video if y'all want to stick around for that. And I hope y'all enjoyed this scrapbook process. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like. If you would like to see more videos, please subscribe. I would love to have you join my channel. And that's all I have. So y'all take care. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time. Bye now. I see a puppy dog. What you doing, Missy? Huh? Hi, Bella. What you doing? Did you come to see me? Are you going to help me get crafty today? I want to do some scrapbooking. Do you want to do that too? Hi there, Belle. What you doing? What y'all doing? Nothing? Whole lot of nothing? A whole lot of nothing. That's what y'all doing today? A whole lot of nothing? Well, I saw you dug all your old toys out of the toy box. Y'all gonna give each other a kiss? That's sweet. So you were playing with all your toys, huh? Well, that's unusual because y'all haven't played with toys in a long time. I know. It's so funny. I had this toy box. I'll have to put a picture here so y'all can see it. I bought it from Etsy and it has their names on it, but it's a toy box with a lid on the top, and at the bottom there's a paw print with a hole where my dogs can get in there and pull things out of the toy box. And sometimes Bella takes all the toys out and she almost sticks her whole body in there trying to get more toys until she finds the one she wants. Hi, Annabelle. Did you play with toys too, or was it just Bella? She made a mess in the living room, you know. Are you going to help me pick that up? No? Well, come see me. What you doing? Huh? Say, I trimmed your hair, so at least now I can see your eyes. I might need to trim a little bit more until we can get you to the groomer. Yep, trim a little bit more. Lilybell does not like getting her hair brushed, and I usually put her on my lap while I'm brushing her hair, and she buries her head and won't let me touch her face. Super funny. You're a funny girl. Okay, where did Bella go? Bella, you gonna come say bye? Mama's gotta get to scrapbooking. Are you gonna come say anything? Nope. Okay, well I guess I'll say bye for you. I guess we'll see you next time. Y'all take care and have an awesome day. Bye.